because definitely if we don't implement it properly, it will just remain a vision document. So thank you so much, sir, for your very valuable insights. I now request Dr. Priti Rishi, ma'am, if you can have your thoughts and views.
Yes, ma'am.
निशा क्या करेंगे? 4:20 हुए हैं. हम्म.
So, I will be, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay. So, I will be focusing more on the challenges, criticism, and the way forward for the national education policy. So, I am representing SRM University, which is located in Delhi NCR Sonipat, and we are one of the first university to have academic affiliation from IET. So, first of all, just I will summarize a few points. Some of them have been already mentioned by earlier speakers. Just quickly, I will go through this. So, this is a comparative analysis of the existing academic structure with the new academic structure that is being proposed. So, transforming curriculum and pedagogical structure. So, earlier it was 10 years plus 2 years. So now we have foundational stage, which is 2 years for class 1 and 2 and 3 years in the Anganwadi preschool in the age 3 to 6. 3 years from class 3 to 5 and another 3 years from class 6 to 8 and finally 4 years from class 9 to 12. So, secondary stage is a multidisciplinary stage, greater critical thinking, flexibility, and student choice of subjects. So, this is where a lot of options are being proposed. And middle stage is experimental learning in sciences, mathematics, arts, and social sciences and humanity. And preparatory stage, it deals with play, discovery, activity based, and interactive classroom learning. Foundational stage is multi-level play activity based learning. So this is the change in the structure that is being proposed. So if we look at the amount of GDP percentage which we have been spending on education, so if we have a comparative thing, in 1968, 1.82% was being spent on education, and in 1985 to 86 it became 3.71%. In 2019-20 we have spent 4.43. So as we know, the current policy, it proposes to spend 6% of the GDP on the education. So this is the timeline. I will not go into detail, but this is how this policy has been planned for being implemented over the next 20 years up to 2040. So presently we are in the process of formulation of National Curricular Framework for School Education, NCFSE, and National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education, and so on. It will be progressing based on this timeline. So before I look at the challenges, I want to show one more slide. So, since I am from the higher education sector, I want to show some of the major reforms that have been proposed in the higher education side. So, 50% gross enrollment ratio by 2035 and holistic and multidisciplinary education with flexibility of subjects, multiple entry and exit. So students can enter and exit a program or a course at different levels. So based on the number of years that they are spending, they may get a UG degree or a PG degree or an integrated degree. And credit transfer and academic bank of credits is being proposed. I have been lately seeing some articles based on this academic bank of credits, that how their credits will be saved in the credit bank and how they can use it from one university. If they are shifting to another university, their credits can be utilized for future education. HEI's research in intensive teaching intensive universities and autonomous degree granting colleges, model multidisciplinary education and research university MERU is being proposed. Graded autonomy is being proposed for academic, administrative, and financial purposes. And it is being proposed to phase out the affiliation system. And national mission on mentoring is being proposed. Single regulator is being proposed for higher education, excluding the legal and medical side. Online self-disclosure based transparent system of approvals are being proposed in place of the inspections. Then common norms for public and private higher education institutions, private philanthropic partnerships, fee fixation within board regulatory framework, and public investment in education sector to reach 6% of GDP at the earliest. Indian knowledge systems, language, culture, and values. So, focus on literature and scientific vocabulary on Indian languages, language faculty, research on languages, strengthening national institutes for promotion of classical languages and literature. Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation is being proposed. Cultural awareness of our Indian knowledge systems, promoting traditional arts and Lokvidya, higher educational institutions, school or school complex to have artists in residence, use of technology in education planning, teaching, learning and assessment, administration and management, regulation, self-disclosure and minimum human interface, increasing access for disadvantaged groups, Divyang friendly education software, e-content in regional languages, virtual labs, National Education Technology Forum, and digitally equipping schools, teachers, and students. So, these are some of the proposals at the higher education side. So, since this is a huge task, this needs lot of work to be done. So next I will be just talking about what challenges we face in implementing this. So NEP 2020 is aimed at transforming India's education system into a modern, progressive and equitable one. The new policy focuses on improving poor literacy and numeracy outcomes associated with the primary schools, reducing dropout levels in middle and secondary schools, and introducing multidisciplinary approach in the higher education system. Besides, the policy also lays emphasis on early childhood education, restructuring curriculum and pedagogy, and reforming the examination process and investing in teacher training. So since this needs to be done, there are substantial challenges, both quantitative and qualitative, in implementing. So if we look at the challenges, these four uh, categories have been identified. Like, first is related to the curriculum and content, then the teacher availability and training, then technology, and then last is the examination structure. So NEP seeks to introduce a shift from 10 plus 2 structure to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure, where early childhood education will be part of the formal education. In addition, it also focuses on reducing the curriculum content to make space for critical thinking and to develop students which are 21st century skills are there in the students. So hence all aspects of curriculum and pedagogy need to be restructured to attain these goals. So this is one of the major challenges. The challenge in successfully implementing these changes include modifying curriculum in accordance with the national curriculum framework. So educators need to rethink the learning content and frame the textbooks also accordingly. Next challenge, if we see, it is on the teacher availability and training. The policy envisages the redesign of the school curriculum, However, in order to deliver the curriculum effectively, schools and concerned authorities need to train teachers and understand the pedagogical needs to make a smooth transition from the new education system. Furthermore, they need to shift the focus from teacher centered learning to student centered learning to foster collaborative skills, critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making abilities in the youth. So, a study suggests that over 250 million students are estimated to enroll in the kindergarten to 12th schools in India by 2030. So, we need nearly 7 million more teachers to handle this huge population. So this is a big challenge. So in order to attract good talent, best teachers, we also need to work on the remuneration part. We need to give good remuneration to attract the best talent. Next is challenge that we face is on the technology sector. So NEP lays emphasis on leveraging the advantages of technology in making the youth future ready, but developing digital infrastructure such as digital classrooms, remote expertise driven teaching models, audiovisual tools to bridge the gap in physical teaching and laboratory infrastructure, this is a great challenge because majority of schools don't have a proper setup to support these tools. So the cost associated with building digital infrastructure might not be affordable for all schools across the country. Moreover, in rural areas of the country where the internet connectivity is nearly absent, deploying digital learning tools is out of question. Hence, government should work on improving basic infrastructure that will support the digital infrastructure in all areas. Next challenge, if we see, it is with the examination structure. The NEP focuses on formative assessment for learning rather than the summative assessment. So the primary purpose of changing assessment system is to promote continuous tracking of the learning outcomes. However, continuous assessment requires schools and teachers to use innovative evaluation approaches and assignments. These approaches demand technological intervention and active involvement of teachers and students. So, according to a study, out of 1.5 million schools in India, 75% are run by the government. Of the remaining schools, private schools, nearly 80% schools are budget private schools. Hence, deploying a continuous assessment framework is a challenging task in these schools. So, thus, the government needs to have a systematic phased approach to successfully implement the NEP 2020 and provide quality education to all the students, irrespective of the place of residence. NEP 2020 lays emphasis on making education system holistic, flexible and aligned to the needs of 21st century education. However, in order to accomplish all these goals, we must overcome all the execution challenges in a sustained manner for years to come. So, I will skip the criticism. I will just come to the way forward. So, here are the recommendations for what may make NEP 2020 work. NEP 2020 must consider linking the right to education RTE to the goal of universalization of education at pre-primary, middle and secondary level. Without this legal backing, NEP's target will remain unmet. It must devise a collaborative strategy with states over the three language formula as education is a concurrent subject. So three language formula, it has come under criticism from the southern states. So they feel it is a way of imposing Hindi on them. So to bring them along with the rest of the states so that we can move together, these collaborative strategies need to be developed. It must make specific time bound and measurable commitments linked with the accountability about finding about funding and expenditure with regard to the grand vision. So time bound commitments of funding and expenditure, that how much state is going to contribute, how much center is going to contribute, so that some formula needs to be evolved. It has to keep children and parents at the center of implementation plans and provide choice not just in letter but also in spirit. So, with this, I will like to wind up my discussion, my talk. So, uh, we sincerely hope that with all these uh, challenges, if we are taking into account, we are being prepared for them, we can get the maximum benefit out of the national education policy.
Thank you, ma'am, for bringing into fore the challenges which are associated with NEP. Definitely, the goals which have been set by NEP are very ambitious and very remarkably and very well researched presentation. Thank you so much, ma'am, for highlighting the challenges and how we can overcome them. I now request Mr. Vinayak Sharma to kindly share his thoughts and views.
I have just a small request, Vinayak. I'll just take 1 more minute. Jaswinder sir is doing is part of a wonderful mission. In fact, his organization is running a big and very I would say very important mission for all educators. So he has to leave, so, but I wanted him to share some some thought about that. So I would request Jaswinder sir if you can share some brief detail about that particular mission for educators. Jaswinder ji, quickly.
Thank you, Rajulji. Thank you for this time. Can I request Dr. Preeti to stop the presentation so that I can come in? Dr. Preeti, can
Sir,
you?
I'll request.
Yes, sir, I do.
Yes, were you saying
I have
something? Yeah, Rajulji.
I was thinking if you start sharing your screen, so that by default ends
Yeah.
this session.
Okay. So my whole point here is that uh, I've been working in the education field since a lot of time, and there's something which I very dearly would like to talk to everybody and would like to share with you all here is that let me share my screen here. We've all been talking about implementing of NEP, the good things and whatever whatnot. But what is very important we need to understand here is that NEP 2020, even if we bring in the whatever kind of um, infrastructure, whatever um, technology we may bring in, whatever we may do in, unless we get the right kind of teachers to come and do the work, this is going to fail. So, as rightly said by some of the presenters today, teacher training is very important. But it is also important that we invite the best of teachers to join this profession. It is said, Mr. Raj Kishore said that people who have got nothing else to do become teachers. True. But how? Why would people come to into this? So I have a suggestion here. I want to tell the government that please make teachers the first citizens of the country. Please give them the due respect. Please honor them the way they should be done, the way earlier our in the Gurukula system our gurus were honored. So what I have done, I am on a mission to bring a little change. So I am going to share my screen here, and I want all of you to have a look at this and let me know if you could all help me in this. Okay. See, I represent a company by the name of Wordsworth. We set up language labs. But what is important in my case is that I would want the way all doctors have a DR written before them, all chartered accountants have a CA written before them, all engineers have a ER written before them. Why can't we have a ED written before this thing? So my suggestion is that I request all the educators that from today, if you could support me in this noble cause of respecting all of the teachers, that before your name, if you could prefix with a ED, this will bring recognition. This will bring the right kind of talent to come into education. We need good talent. We need good teachers. We need to not only give them good salaries, we need to respect them the way they need to be done. So this is what I wanted to talk about. If I could have this kind of support from all of you, maybe we will be able to get the right kind of talent, and maybe we can go to the next level and achieve what NEP wants. Believe me, only infrastructure is not going to work. The soul of NEP is the teacher. So let's go and respect them. Thank you so much for your, uh, expected support. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Vinayak, for giving us these two important minutes. Thank you for that. Now, thank you, Rakhi ma'am. And now I would request, and big thanks, Jaswinder sir, for joining. And now I would request Vinayak to share your part.
Thank you.
That's a wonderful thought, Jaswinder sir, because I really believe that teachers need to be recognized. They deserve far more recognition that has been currently given to them. That is for sure. And this is a interesting way and a good thought process the way we can provide it to them. So that was amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
So as I said that my core area being a music, so I am really glad that NLP has removed a clear demarcation between scholastic subjects and non-scholastic subjects. It's treating all subjects as equal because unless we do that, we can talk all we want about vocational learning, but we'll never be able to achieve the development of those skills. For many schools, subjects such as music has never been a priority. uh, the thought process that is currently missing in the school masses are that there has been a general lack of curriculum. The music classes are just going on for the sake of it, as students are not expected to opt for music as a serious subject. There is lack of awareness of different music genres and how a career oriented music education can improve the child's future. uh, Availability of instruments have always been an issue, and dedicated infrastructure. There is lack of space, there is lack of technology, and lack of school level performance opportunities also that need to be given to the children. I would like to highlight a 5-year nationwide study that was conducted by Mysore University scholar Dr. DVK Vasudevan. The purpose of that study was to analyze music education in schools across India. Now, the ratings from the central schools and the state level boards were compared to those of the Western countries with special focus on the US. The study found out that Government of India, HR Ministry, and NCERT have always professed the value of music education. There has been a total failure to incorporate these ideas in the Indian schools. Uh, can anyone tell me what does music mean? Like the meaning of music. If anyone can tell me that. Anyone? I think everybody has slept. That is why I wanted to give tea in the beginning.
Not slept, but a very difficult question, I would say. Otherwise, it seems
Look,
very simple.
Yeah.
But when you're about to define something like music, because I believe it is just imagination. You can't, think of a
uh,
definition for.
Vinayak, it's a human creativity, I would say. And as per my own experience and what I think of music, it gives me enough joy. I hear this word, I really want to listen to something really good.
Yes.
So for me, it is that. But what is your question? I'm sorry, I'm not able to answer that.
Yeah, because
Uh,
if we try to elaborate, music is everywhere. Even our heartbeat is rhythmic. Uh, the chirping of birds, and if we look around, there is music everywhere.
Very true. Like everybody has their own explanation to music, but it is so difficult to define. And everybody can relate to music. But how I would like to simplify it that music can be identified as a language. It has a written form. It is a universal language that is understood by everybody. If you play good music to a 6-month old a child, it will respond to it. Uh, if you everyone can tell the difference between a bad singer and a good singer. Why is that? It is inherent in our nature that uh, there are songs such as Despacito and Gangnam Style sung by North Korean artists and in French and Spanish, the languages even which we don't understand, but we listen to it because we still enjoy it even though we cannot understand the lyrics. So music is inherent in each and every person, and I believe that everybody should have an opportunity to listen to music. I just veered off the topic midway, so I'll just come back to it. Yeah. So, like cognitive scientists, educationalists, and learning experts have produced innumerable studies that established the value of music education for children. But owing to the pressures of modern living, not every child has access to some level of music learning. It should be provided at schools, I feel. Uh, while this integration is mandated in many boards, including CBSE and ICSE, but effective implementation has been beyond the reach of even schools that have the best of interest and intentions towards their students. Very few schools encourage students to opt for music as a mainstream subject. Uh, as I said, like now with NEP 2020, I'm really glad that the demarcation of music as a co-curricular activity has been removed and it stands equivalent to any mainstream subject. So previously what there used to be that students who were committed to pursuing subjects such as music even find it difficult to juggle academics with music because that was the standard that was set. So, and I would like to give an example of Jack Ma, who was asked famously in an interview, being a visionary, that what would you want children of the future to learn so that they stand out? And so they will be better than the technology which is present there. Jaswinder sir said that we have 5 chartered accountants for everything and we have got multiple people for other posts, but we find it very hard to find a plumber. So what he said that we should teach our children the performing arts such as painting, encourage them writing skills so that they can create their own stories. We should teach them dance for them to express themselves. We should teach them music which cannot be replicated and automated, because most of the basic tasks such as calculations, accounting, decision making, risk analysis can be automated even today. We enter the data into the system and we'll get a meaningful output on the basis of which many decisions can be made. However, what cannot be replicated is human creativity, which should be inculcated at an early age. Now, this is where we, Torrens, as a company, stepped into India in 2017 and have been successfully laying structure to the music education in India for our 80 plus associated schools and around 200 plus schools in US since 2010. We provide the entire necessary infrastructure at zero cost to schools, a modernized curriculum for music education for both instrumental learning as well as non-instrumental learning that includes Hindustani classical. We provide young, trained, and skilled manpower who can adapt to the new methodologies of teaching. We ensure that the day-to-day maintenance of the equipments is also done at zero hassle to the schools. We give a national level platform to the students, which was attended by around 7,000 people last year in Pune, where multiple bands participated and it was judged by Bollywood celebrities. We try to bring in the highest of globally accepted standards and technique, both in terms of technology for online learning and for music education as a curriculum as well. We deliver it to the schools at a very, very economical cost so that students of any economical background can have access to structured music education, which they truly deserve. I believe along with teaching the subjects for purely examination purpose, we need to teach students confidence to excel as well. And this can be achieved by teaching them music and inculcating within them the ability to perform in stage as well as in life. Uh, Rajni ma'am spoke about high quality infrastructure that needs to be included in schools. So I would just share my screen just for 1 minute. I'll just show you something. I guess my screen is visible. Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yes, your
Yes.
screen is visible.
It
Yes,
is
sir.
Yeah. So basically, these were the rooms that were given to us by a school, and this is what we did to it. We believe that each child needs to feel the instrument in their hand for them to learn the music. Creation of creative spaces for them to learn is also important, so that every week, rather than considering music as a free period, the students just run to these rooms. Uh, we actually have lots of guitars and keyboards breaking because of that running, but that is something that we have to deal with. So there will be a specific set of instructors delivered for each room. And if you can see, this person who you can see is teaching, he's actually an engineer. He has left his job, which was he found it to be very stressful, and he has joined us as a music instructor in one of our schools. So we have dentists, we have got engineers, we have got even uh, college dropouts. But one thing is common, that they all have a passion for music. So, with that thought, I would just like to end my presentation. And over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vinayak. I mean, I must say it was a beautiful transformation, and thank you for letting us know how we can utilize your services to cater to the needs of the children that is related to music. And very rightly you pointed out when you said that you have dentists, engineers working with you. So this is very unfortunate, and that is what we're hoping from this new education policy, with better exposure to all the subjects, and I am sure the children will be able to identify their passion timely so that this mismatch doesn't happen anymore. Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma. So I
Thank you,
would
ma'am.
now want to invite Mr. Rajal for the questions that we have received from the participants.
Right. Thank you, Raki ma'am, for leading us during the session, and thank you all the key speakers, Rajni ma'am, Rajkishore Gupta sir, Preeti ma'am, Vinayak sir, Jaswinder sir, for participating and sharing your remarks and perspective on this national education policy. So we have received many questions. Before I start presenting these questions to all the key speakers, I'll just take a minute in explaining what exactly we have been doing at School Lalaji Solutions. So I'll just take a minute. I'll share my screen here to give you some idea. In fact, some of you are already aware the kind of work we are doing at School Alaji Solutions. In fact, we are India's largest one-stop solution platform for educational institutions. We are present in 42 cities, working with around 4,500 educational institutions. What we do? We help institutions in three ways. We help them in buying right thing from right people at right price. We also help schools and institutions in selling their old items like their old buses, generators, their furniture to needy people, to the institutions who may need them at right price. We also help institutions in raising money. That may be in terms of loans or in terms of fee financing, or there are some other ways of doing that. So why an institution needs us? Why Rajkumar Gupta sir? Why Rajini ma'am? Why Raki ma'am? Why any school leader would need a School Lalaji solution? You have your old suppliers. आपको लगता है कि हमारी तो team है. That's very right. Team is efficient. You believe that you are getting good discount. So why you need a platform like School Lalaji Solutions? There is this is one reason for that. In fact, two reasons for that. One is a very unique one. In last 10-12 years, in India, in our education ecosystem, there are thousands of new companies have come up with wonderful product, wonderful services. Every year, there are 100, 200 new companies are coming up in education. They are offering wonderful programs. They are offering wonderful products. But is it possible for Rajkumar sir, for Rajini ma'am, for Raki ma'am to interact with everyone, to understand their products in detail? So those all companies have done wonderful thing at the product development side, but they are lacking and they are facing a huge challenge and struggling in meeting with the education leaders, in demonstrating their products and services, to take your feedback, to take your views. At the same time, school leaders also have challenge with time. You have limited bandwidth. You cannot meet with everyone. So here we come in. We as a school, Lalaji, we have we have developed capacities for different categories. We have dedicated team for different categories. We understand your school. We understand your actual requirement. We also understand your budgetary limitation, and accordingly we help you in finding the right people in different domains. So we help institutions in these departments. We help in smart class procurement, uniform, insurance, diesel. Yes, we are supplying diesel to many schools in Delhi NCR. Solar plant, language lab, security solutions, furniture, recruitment, music classrooms, healthcare, robotics, STEM, STEAM labs, career counseling, stationery, digital IT solutions. It's a one-stop solution, educational tour, generators, learning tools, finance. And we take the guarantee that will save at least your 5 to 7%. And it's a guaranteed, like we'll save your 5 to 7% of your annual expenditure. आपने पिछले साल जो खर्चा किया वही सब काम हम करेंगे. और आपके अगर 100 रुपए खर्च हुए तो आप हमें 100 रुपए दीजिए और हम वही सारे काम आपके करा देंगे. आपकी बसेस का इंश्योरेंस हो, आपकी 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 बसेस नहीं खरीदनी हो, आपका जो भी आपने किया लास्ट ईयर जो आपको इस साल करना है. Just one example, we saved 2 crore 40 lakh rupees in one category, just that is in bus insurance for different schools in 2019. These are some major highlights. So we did 8 megawatt plus solar installation, 3,000 plus bus insurance, 400 plus smart classrooms, 2,000 plus cameras, 350 plus training programs, 56 old buses we sold from one school to another. We also installed uniform in 42 schools. By the end of 2021, we aim to reach out to 10,000 institutions. We need your support, your guidance, your blessings. So thank you for that. Now I'll straight away start presenting questions. So Rajni ma'am, I'll request if I may present the first question to you.
Yes, sir.
Right, ma'am. The first question, ma'am, this has come from Ms. Gitanjali Mukherjee. She is HOD English with the Genesis Global School, Noida. The question says, how will school leaders manage resource allocation in terms of teachers and rooms in metropolitans which do not have, many schools where do not have a huge area, especially in urban cities. So
The question is, how do they manage resource and
resources like NEP proposes a lot of new initiatives, right? It proposes the
yeah.
10 days vocational training. It proposes co-curricular activities, emphasis. So how do you see the
Sir, what
challenge?
I feel the biggest resource that any institution can have is a teacher. Teacher in itself, we talk of smart classrooms, we talk of those digital contents and all. Okay, they are going to help, but the biggest resource that any institution can have is a teacher. Teacher in itself is a resource. Then they talk of very good infrastructure. Even if we have a small area like in the big cities, they have talked about like 1 acre, I think, area is enough for a taking up a CBSE school, for building up a CBSE school over there. But still, 1 acre is more than enough. What they need to do is they need to restrict the number of students in the schools so that they'll be able to cater to all the students effectively and manage the space well. Okay. Then another thing what they can do is keep resources. I don't think too much of as a space occupying resources are required. Okay, we can use the room as a, like in science we have a multidisciplinary labs, isn't it? The lab can be used for various purposes. Okay, only thing is we need to know where to stack the things for different subjects if we do not have that space. So you have to devise the ways depending upon how much space you have. And as far as I know, when I teach any subject, what I need is a good content and the way of delivery and how I can relate to my students well. Okay, of course, the playgrounds are required. In Delhi, what they are doing, they are utilizing the schools which do not have a playground. I think which is must and quite essential for any school. And especially the maximum crunch comes with the playground in the big metropolitan cities. For there, they are using the playgrounds or the parks which have been provided by the government. They are taking their students to those places. In some of our DAVs, they are facing this problem in Delhi. Okay, so maximum space that is required is for the playground. But for the rest of the things, I think we can utilize our corridors for storing the things, and you can devise the ways depending upon the place that you are in.
Right.
And I think if other speakers can add something to it, so
Right. I'll come to that part. Thank you, Rajni ma'am. And absolutely. So resources, it's a very subjective area, and but that's a manageable part. So thank you, Rajni ma'am. With this, I would request Raj Kishore Gupta sir. Raj Kishore sir, if I may present this question to you. Raj Kishore sir, do we have your presence? You are on mute.
sir, I think sir was in the car when he was presenting his this thing. So maybe something wrong with the network or something.
Maybe. So we'll try to connect with him at later stage. Rakhi ma'am, I would request if I may present this question to you. This has come, from Miss Renuka. Renuka ji is teacher with Delhi Public School, Kurukshetra. So question says, is it the choice of students of class 9th to choose their favorite subjects And can they skip Hindi or English subject in grade 9th onwards?
Um,
Sir, can I
yes,
answer
they
this?
will skip.
Okay.
Yeah, please, ma'am.
No, Rakhi ma'am. I thought it was for Preeti because Preeti is from higher education. I thought it was for Preeti. Please go ahead, ma'am. Yes, Rakhi ma'am.
Okay. And ma'am, I would want you to add on to that, whatever I say. See, when we're talking about languages, it'll be on the states, how they implement. Because as of now, English is mandatory when we come to class ninth. Like in Haryana, Hindi also, in ninth, we give a choice between English is there, but we give a choice in the second language. The children can select depending on the school what languages school offers. Like children can pick between Hindi, they can pick up between Hindi, Sanskrit, French, German, depending on what languages the particular school offers, depending on the availability of teachers or their choice. So it will depend on states now that they want English to be compulsory. And but now that we have the three language formula for 6 to 8, which was already there, like in if I talk about Haryana, we used to have English and Hindi in 6th, 7th, 8th, and the third language was their choice, the student's choice. They could have Sanskrit, French, German, any foreign language, or maybe Sanskrit, so whatever the choice was. So with the advent of NEP, there is not much clarity, and it will be, I believe, the state's choice whether they want the state language to be compulsory, and there will be a choice between other languages. So, Rajni ma'am, if you want to further add on that, please.
Yeah, as ma'am said rightly, till class 6 to 8, we have a three language formula. That student has to study three languages till the class 8. And in ninth and 10th, it's a two languages. Even in this NEP, it has been stated that two languages are to be studied, but the choice of the language is dependent on the state in which the child is. Okay. And in class 11th and 12th, the one language is to be studied. And even at higher level, one language in like graduation stage also. That is the formula, and still it remains the same. This is a small line that says this thing in the NEP. Only a small hint of this is there. It will
Right.
remain the same.
Right. So
Thank you.
I believe you know Rajni ji who asked this question, you know right. So Renuka ji who asked this question, she did not mention like whether she is a English teacher or Hindi teacher, but there is no need to worry. English and Hindi subjects are going to be there. So with this, I would request Dr.
No, they can
Preeti
choose
Rishi,
anyone, I think.
they can choose anyone, but schools are going to retain Hindi and English teacher.
Of course, because that is English is an international language. We can't do away
But
with it.
there are
Our answer,
many people,
or we
ma'am.
make our Hindi so strong that sooner it becomes an
And
international
even
language.
if
Right.
there is a choice, the children are going to
Absolutely.
get divided, but still,
Ma'am, जब से
the retention
लॉकडाउन,
of teacher is going to be there.
I'm sure Rajni ma'am, Rakhi ma'am, you would agree with this. जब से लॉकडाउन हुआ है, टीचर्स हर चीज को लेके घबरा रहे हैं कि पता नहीं अब कल को क्या हो जाए, कि इंग्लिश
Rajat, I can't agree more.
right, right. I know that.
No doubt.
So in fact, a lot of people have asked us this question during our last 95 sessions. Many people have asked this कि English अब इंडिया से खत्म हो जाएगी, English को हम पढ़ाएंगे नहीं पढ़ाएंगे. So there are a lot of people who are apprehensive about these things. So now I would request Dr. Preeti Rishi before I come to Vinayak Sharma ji. Dr. Rishi, this is about that vocational education exposure. You know, now NEP has emphasized upon that vocational training, but how do you think like how the resources will be managed by schools? Like, do we have that number of infrastructure?
Sir, can you please repeat the question?
The question about vocational education, the
Yes, sir.
10 days mandatory vocational
Yes,
exposure
sir.
training to students. So let's say a school has 2000 students. So so a school has to, or let's say like 1000 or 1200 students, 1500 students in that bracket. So how schools is how schools are going to manage training for those 1500 or 2000 students?
Sir, Actually, I don't have much idea about the school, this thing, but what I have read online and what I have seen is that they are going to recruit people specially for this, and it can be done on rotational basis. So since it is only 10 days in that whole year, so that same staff can be able to give training to many batches or many classes of the same school.
Right, right. So you're saying
Sir,
shared
can I
resources.
add something to it?
Yes, 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 ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please.
Actually, what I want to say is the first and the foremost task is they need to train the teachers for many of the vocational courses. And I think MHRD ministry has already taken up this task. Some of my teachers, they have already attended certain recently added financial programs, which have been added as a vocational programs in class 11th and 12th and 9th and 10th. Artificial intelligence programs, the teacher training is going on for that, and they are doing it on a very large scale. And along with that, they are also providing some of the softwares free to the teachers. It can be accessed through the school only digitally from anywhere, and they are providing these things, huh? But some other things, I think schools, they need to make some expenditure on those things for other vocational subjects. But I think government is definitely going to help as far as the training of teachers and providing other necessary requirements, or the I would say the instruments or other things that are required. Or
Right.
Shayad, I think, Jessa, if I heard it correctly, Vinayak sir, you said that you will provide these instruments also free of cost. You said
Yes,
only the
yes,
space
yes,
was provided, but the school has
yes,
to
yes.
pay for the teacher.
No, we just design a all-in-one package for the school, depending upon the
Okay.
number of students which the school has.
Uh-huh.
So, like, I can discuss with you after this session
ये
is over.
Okay.
वो वाला
Okay, sir.
पार्ट वो वाला पार्ट नहीं बताया इन्होंने मैम अभी, वो तो ये जब बताएंगे आपके स्कूल में आके,
नहीं
इन्होंने
नहीं मैम,
अभी
it
से
is
फर्स्ट.
it is absolutely economical, and like that is why within 3 years we have outreached 85 more and more schools across 26 cities in India. So I'll definitely send you all the details,
So
ma'am.
I think we have such people like Vinayak sir and this Lalaji
Absolutely.
group. I think they are really going to help us in solving these issues to some extent.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, like companies like Torrens, they are the companies. अब जैसा विनायक ने शुरू में भी बताया कि हम लोग म्यूजिक लैब लगाते हैं. इनफैक्ट वी आर वर्किंग विद सो मेनी स्कूल्स, वी सी दिस प्रॉब्लम. म्यूजिक लैब हमने लगा दिया, पर कोई अगर इंस्ट्रूमेंट में हल्का सा कुछ खराबी हो गया तो वो ठीक ही नहीं हुआ. एंड देन वी हैव वन इंस्ट्रूमेंट फॉर 20 पीपल और 15 पीपल, और तो वो एक्चुअल में सिर्फ कहने के लिए हो गया. But with this NEP now, like the kind of awareness it is bringing, we see that it's quite evident that people are realizing the importance of these subjects. अब से पहले हम लोगों ने realize किया, a lot of people used to ask this question कि म्यूजिक सीखेगा तो बनेगा क्या. पर आज हम लोगों को भी इतने सारे सेशंस कराने के बाद, इतने सारे स्कूलों में बात करने के बाद, we have realized that you don't need to learn music to become A.R. Rahman. You don't need to learn music to become some big musician. You If you are learning music, it is also helping you in other areas, in your other parts of your life, आपके maths में, आपके English में, आपके other सारी चीजों में. So आपका there are so many reports which say that music, if someone is learning music, तो violence, जो school level violence है, उसमें बहुत सारा कमी आ रहा है. So that's very important, and
And
teams like Vinayak and other people, they are helping a lot. So Vinayak, the last question to you, इसका मतलब ये नहीं हम question भूल गए आपसे पूछना. So the question comes to you, Vinayak, the same question. This has been asked by a lot of people. If you can clarify that part, let's say if let's say 20 students from each school, India has 3.5 lakh private schools. So just imagine a world when we have 50,000 schools. Out of those 50,000 schools, just 20 schools from one school, they start opting music as a subject. तो वो 50,000 स्कूल्स कैसे कि हमारे पास तो ट्रेनर, आपके पास भी इतने सारे ट्रेनर्स नहीं होंगे कि आप 50,000 स्कूलों के ट्रेनर कैसे करेंगे फिर.
Jaise Rajul ji, like I would like to add how our methodology of trainers is a lot different from the standard thing, because हम लोगों के लिए it's very important to identify the passion of the person. Like as I said, we even have dentists, but they are passionate for guitar. We even have college dropouts, but they have a passion for keyboard. Now, वो अपने एजुकेशन लाइफ में सक्सेसफुल नहीं हुआ, बट उसने खाली जीवन अपना कीबोर्ड को ही समर्पित कर दिया. So he has become an absolute master in that instrument. Now, what gives him joy is to give that skill to other children. So we just need to train a certain amount of soft skills to that person so that he becomes job ready and he becomes comfortable in a school environment. Because his job is not to teach English, his job is not to teach technical subject, his job is not to teach maths, but his job is to ensure that each and every child plays their instrument. Each and every child can sing in the proper pitch. Each and every child should play in the correct timing. So these are the things which only people who are highly passionate about their subject will be able to do. Means you cannot take a batch, like what I have seen, it's a sad reality, but schools have very highly qualified music teachers. But when they come to these music rooms, 40 बच्चे आते हैं, गाना गाते हैं और चले जाते हैं. और एक कीबोर्ड प्लेइंग करते रहते हैं टीचर, या कोई एक बच्चा आके कभी कभार कीबोर्ड बजा लेता है, एंड इट इज ड्यू टू द फियर दैट द इंस्ट्रूमेंट विल गेट स्पॉइल्ड. बिकॉज किसी बच्चे को अगर नहीं बजाना आता तो स्कूल का एसेट डिस्ट्रॉय होता है. सो वी नीड टू गेट आउट ऑफ ऑल दीज थिंग्स and ensure that each child is presented with that opportunity. I'll give you another example. In Kanyakumari, there was a third standard student. She wanted to learn the guitar. वो उसको हम वहाँ पे 7 टीचर हम लोग प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं. इनफैक्ट इट्स अ 3500 स्कूल्स स्टूडेंट स्कूल. सो एंड दे आर इनटू द कार्नेटिक साइड ऑफ म्यूजिक, यू नो, जो एकदम साउथ का स्पेशलिटी है, not at all familiar with the western. So she wanted to learn the guitar. She tried for 1 month, it hurt her finger. She shifted to keyboard. She tried for 2 months. She could not relate. But when we shifted her to drums, she had a natural knack for drums, which her parents would not even have let her explore. उसके घर में तबला था, but उसको उसमें इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं था. She picked up those drums, and within 6 months, she is playing with these class 12 boys and the school band. लंबे लंबे लड़के लोग और इतनी छोटी सी बच्ची ड्रम्स बजा रही है उनके साथ. So it became a local news there कि something like this is even possible. So the point that I'm trying to make is that we have everything. We just need to tap the correct resource, convert them how to make it function in the school environment, and ensure that children are giving a hands-on experience to all these things. That is what will create the difference.
Right. Thank you, Vinayak, for that. And with this, we come to the last part of the session, which is the conclusion. So I would request all our speakers if we can have your concluding remarks. Before that, I offer big thanks to all the participants, key speaker, for joining. I would request while sharing your concluding remark, if you can also share a thought, one important idea which you would like to implement in education if you become minister of education of a country. So what would be the priority if you become minister of education? So Dr. Preeti Rishi, I'll come to you. I'll begin with you. So agar aap, while sharing your, I would request for your concluding remark, and what would be your priority as a minister of education? Dr. Preeti Rishi. I believe Minister of Education is not on her seat. So I would request Vinayak Sharma while Dr. Rishi is coming back. Vinayak, your concluding remark, and what would be your priority as Minister of Education?
Basically, Ministry of Education would, I think, allocate bit of funds to us as a company so that we can give far better resources to schools, because and even to schools, I'm just joking, like the funds should be allocated properly, because the sad thing is that when the lockdown was happening and we were seeing in the news that crores and crores of impetus was given to MSMEs and everything, there was not even a single mention of some sort of a relief given to schools, the only industry that is still struggling despite things opening up. So there needs to be some sort of a financial impetus given to both state level as well as private schools, so that they can improve their infrastructure, improve their training, because resources can do wonders to a school if implemented correctly. And the resources should come from the ministry to the school in some form. I feel that that is where the ministry needs to work.
Right, absolutely. So more distribution of resources to schools. Thank you, Vinayak, for that. Now I would request Rakhi ma'am, if I come, I would request Rajni ma'am, and then I'll come back to Rakhi ma'am later to conclude this session. Rajni ma'am, if I may request for your concluding remark, and what would be your idea if you become Minister of Education? Rajni ma'am.
Uh, it's something I cannot even dream of. But still, uh, if
And
I'll
your
be given an
credentials, you are
option,
so senior, ma'am. You are
yeah.
so senior that you deserve to become Minister of Education.
No, 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 sir, no. I don't want to be. I want to be away from politics and all. But still, I think what really needs to be changed in the present scenario, as Mr. Jaswinder said out rightly, that we need to give respect to the teacher. This profession needs that respect, and then only we'll be able to bring that change in the society. Nowadays, I think I have seen that students, they don't respect their teachers. Why they don't respect? Even the parents, they don't respect the teachers to that extent. And for that, to some extent, I think we teachers are to be blamed, because every teacher after the school is doing that coaching. Okay, so I think because that is the one reason. But if the teachers, they don't go for that, they are not able to run their families well, because in all the private institutions the salary is not adequate. They are not paying even close to that seventh pay commission, isn't it? So I think they need to bring that type of a equality in all the schools. Okay, it should become the responsibility of the government to see to it that teachers are paid well, and especially during these pandemic times where all the private schools are really struggling, I would say. Okay,
So,
so I think I would go for that. But besides all these things, what is required is the teacher, whosoever will come to this profession, should be really passionate about the work. We
right.
need to be very passionate, then only we'll be able to bring the change in the society. We are not passionate, that is why our children are becoming so rowdy. So I think we need to think over it.
Right,
Thank
right.
you.
So more, monetary compensation to teachers. तो मैम आपको शिक्षा मंत्रालय के साथ साथ वित्त मंत्रालय भी दिया जाना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल, फाइनेंस तो नहीं देना चाहिए.
जी जी, फाइनेंस पे आपने बहुत एक्साइटमेंट शो किया, तो मतलब आपके मन में फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री कुछ ज्यादा है, राइट? तो
नहीं नहीं, कोई भी मिनिस्ट्री
फाइनेंशियल
नहीं है.
कि आपने फाइनेंस पे तो एकदम से कहा कि नहीं, फाइनेंस तो आप दे लो, तो
नहीं नहीं,
मतलब
वो तो
ये
मैंने इसलिए कहा ना कि आ जाएगा तो अच्छा हो जाएगा, पैसे देने आसान हो जाएंगे.
नहीं, ये नहीं, एब्सोल्युटली एब्सोल्युटली आई एग्री विद यू. एंड दिस इज जनरली पूरे देश में मैम देखा जा रहा है, जब से डीमोनेटाइजेशन हुआ है, कि शिक्षा मंत्रालय कोई नहीं लेना चाहता, हम लोग फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री लेना चाहते हैं. तो मेरे मन में भी यही बात है. So thank you, Rajini ma'am, for that. And now I would request the moderator for this session, Rakhi ma'am. Ma'am, under your leadership, we have been able to do all these sessions. Now over to you, your concluding remark, and what would be your idea as Minister of Education, and your concluding remarks, Rakhi ma'am.
Thank you, Raju. First of all, so on behalf of, I believe, all the participants and entire education fraternity, I must thank you for this wonderful opportunity that you're providing to all of us to come together and share our thoughts, learn from each other's experiences. So, तो एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर बनते ही मैं तो तुम्हें लीड रोल दे दूंगी, to bring all everybody together. Because when we're talking about standardization, जैसे ma'am also said,
Just
Rajni
second,
ma'am
ma'am,
said,
Raj Kishore sir has also joined us. So after
yes,
your
yes,
concluding remark, we'll come back to Raj Kishore
all
sir.
right,
Raj Kishore sir,
yes.
please stay with us for 5 more minutes, and we'll take your concluding remarks.
सर, जैसे कि अभी जो मिनिस्टर साहब से आपकी कहने की बात है, तो यदि जैसे कि हमने अभी बेसिकली आरटी को लागू किया हुआ है, लेकिन उसमें क्या है, स्टेट वाइज डिफरेंस है कि स्टेट वाइज जैसे यूपी की अगर बात लें, यूपी एक बहुत बड़ा स्टेट है और उसमें जो आरटी है वो अच्छी तरह से लागू नहीं हो पा रहा है. बेसिकली उसका रीजन ये है कि 450 रुपये प्रति माह जो है उन्होंने देने की बात रखी है यूपी गवर्नमेंट ने, जबकि बेसिक जो एनईपी थी उसमें सीधी सीधी सी बात थी कि जितना स्कूल पे कर रहा है या जितना उसका खर्चा है या स्टेट जो पे कर रहा है, उनमें दोनों में से जो मिनिमम होगा वो दिया जाएगा. लेकिन यूपी में ये चेंज कर दिया और अन्य स्टेट में भी चेंज कर दिया कि वो 450 रुपये या अन्य अमाउंट दे रहे हैं. इसकी वजह से क्या हो रहा है कि प्रत्येक स्कूल जिनके खर्चे ज्यादा हैं, जिनमें ज्यादातर बच्चे एडमिशन लेना चाहते हैं, उनमें से वो ना तो एडमिशन दे पा रहे हैं और ना ही वो बच्चे ले पा रहे हैं, क्योंकि स्कूल जो है वो एडमिशन देने से भागता है. क्योंकि यदि उसका बेसिक खर्चा ही एक बच्चे के प्रति जो है हेल्थ या 1500 या 2000 रुपये प्रति बच्चा है, तो वो 450 रुपये क्यों ले? तो ऐसे दृष्टिकोण से कम मिनिस्ट्री को यूनिफॉर्म सिस्टम लागू करना चाहिए कि जो हमारी आरटीई है उसमें सबको ये सामान दिया जाएगा, ये स्टेट लेवल पर या अपना जितना भी जो भी एक सिस्टम है ना, वो यूनिफॉर्म सिस्टम बने। क्योंकि स्टेट लेवल पर जो सिस्टम है वो वहाँ पर एनईपी को तोड़ के नया सिस्टम लागू कर दिया है, जिसकी वजह से जो बच्चा लाभ लेना चाहिए जितना, उतना लाभ ले नहीं पा रहा है। जैसे कि जो यूपी में जो पर स्टूडेंट का खर्चा है वो 3600 रुपये प्रति बच्चा है, 3614 रुपये कुछ ऐसा कुछ अमाउंट है जो प्रति बच्चे पर खर्च कर रही है सरकार। लेकिन जब गवर्नमेंट जो है वो स्कूल को देने के लिए बात करती है तो 450 रुपये प्रति बच्चे की बात करती है। वो 5400 रुपये प्रति ईयर होता है, और उसको भी 3-4 साल तक पेंडेंसी रखी जाती है। तो इस दृष्टिकोण से कहीं ना कहीं वो जो सिस्टम है वो जो बनाया गया है वो धराशायी हो जाता है उस जगह, क्योंकि कोई भी स्कूल ये बर्डन नहीं लेना चाहता, क्योंकि 25% बच्चे अगर उन्होंने कहे हैं तो उसका भार भी 75% पर आ रहा है। यदि हम 25% बच्चों को पढ़ाएंगे तो नेचुरली उसका पूरा भार जो है उन बाकी 75 पर चला जाएगा। तो ऐसे में कम से कम गवर्नमेंट को ये सीधा सीधा इंस्ट्रक्शन होने, तो एनईपी की मूल धारा है और जो हमने जो आरटी लागू की है वो आरटी की जो मूल धारा है उसको उससे उससे खिलवाड़ ना करें, कम से कम उसको उतना बनाए रखें जिससे कि प्रत्येक स्कूल कम से कम उसको आने से रोके मत, क्योंकि फाइनेंस एक बहुत बड़ा मैटर प्रत्येक स्कूल के लिए होता है।
अगर इसका समाधान क्या होना चाहिए? फॉर एग्जांपल सर, जैसे आपको अगर शिक्षा मंत्री आपको बनने का मौका मिला तो आप इसका समाधान कैसे आपको देंगे? स्कूल स्टेट के पास फंड्स भी नहीं है।
हाँ, बिल्कुल सही है कह रहे हैं सर। समाधान उसका यही है कि जो गवर्नमेंट ने मेन आरटीई का जो सिस्टम डेवलप किया था कि प्रत्येक स्टेट में जो भी उसका खर्चा होगा, जो मिनिमम पर बच्चा पर स्टूडेंट खर्चा कर रही है गवर्नमेंट, या जो स्कूल की फीस है उसमें जो भी मिनिमम होगा वो दिया जाएगा। तो उससे क्या है कि इन दोनों वाक्यों से प्रत्येक स्कूल कैटर हो जाता है, चाहे किसी की फीस 500 रुपए हो या किसी की फीस 5000 रुपए हो, और जो भी उसकी स्टेट का जो खर्चा है उसके हिसाब से उसको जो भी मिनिमम वो देना चाह रही है, तो गवर्नमेंट का कोई एक्स्ट्रा बर्डन तो आया नहीं।
मैंने सुना है उत्तराखंड गवर्नमेंट इसमें 1200 रुपए पर बच्चा अभी करने वाली है, ये सही खबर है?
करने वाली सर, करने का प्रोग्राम उनका है, लेकिन कब होगा ये तो ऊपर वाला जाने, क्योंकि क्या है ना, अब उत्तराखंड जो स्टेट है वो वैसे भी बहुत छोटा स्टेट है। यूपी में 23 करोड़ लोग रहते हैं, इतनी बड़ी जनसंख्या है, और उसमें केवल 450 रुपए देने की बात करते हैं। तो ऐसे में जो आरटीई है वो अपनी सही चांद पे लागू होगा ही नहीं। अब ऐसे में इन्होंने क्या किया, एनपीपी में क्या कर दिया है कि नर्सरी क्लास से स्टार्ट कर दिया है और क्लास 12th को भी ऐड कर दिया, 9th से 12th को भी। जबकि 9th से 12th को ऐड करने का मीनिंग ये है कि उसपे जो एक बहुत ह्यूज खर्चे आते हैं, सारे पीसीडीज महंगे होते हैं, लेबोरेटरीज महंगी होती हैं। अगर आप स्कूल के लेवल पे बात करें तो उसका जो खर्चा है वो काफी ज्यादा होता है, लेकिन अभी कहीं एक्सपेंसेस की बात ही नहीं की है। तो क्या ऐसे में 400, 450, 500 रुपए या 1000 रुपए दे के कहीं ना कहीं वो नहीं चल सकती ना एनईपी की बात, और जो हम आरटी की बात कर रहे हैं। तो वो फिजिकली हमें धरातल पे आना पड़ेगा, और धरातल पे आके सोचना पड़ेगा कि जो उसके बेसिक खर्चे हैं वो तो मीट आउट हो, तभी स्कूल आगे बढ़ के उसको एडमिशन को लेना चाहेंगे।
जी सर, थैंक्स। राइट, थैंक यू Rajkishore sir for that. And now I would request Rakhi ma'am, over to you, your concluding remark and what would be your thought as Minister of Education?
I think Ministry of Education cannot function without bringing the finance ministry under its purview. That has already been concluded. You'll have to change your question from the next session.
Absolutely.
You made the finance minister, what will you do? So, I think जो एजुकेशन सेक्टर का भला फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर ही कर सकता है, एजुकेशन
आपने बिल्कुल ठीक कहा। हम लोग भी यही महसूस कर रहे थे पिछले 95 सेशन में कि हम बोलते हैं शिक्षा मंत्री बनने के लिए, वो बनते हैं वित्त मंत्री।
एग्जैक्टली। तो आई बिलीव फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर्स की ज्यादा जरूरत है हमें।
राइट। So your concluding remarks.
Thank you, Rajul, once again for this wonderful opportunity, and I thank the key speakers of the day, Rajni ma'am, Raj Kishore sir, Dr. Priti, Jaswinder sir, and Mr. Vinayak Sharma. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a wonderful deliberation from all of you, and your wonderful insights which came. They were remarkable. We could all see that you're well researched, and you're all very actively and passionately working towards implementation of NEP. Because every time in every session, one major focus is on implementation. So that is the true aim of these leadership talks, that together we will be able to devise an action plan, that how very successfully we'll be able to implement NEP, and we'll be able to achieve the goals, because it is a very ambitious vision document, and we are all hopeful that we'll be able to transform the education system, and ultimately transform the entire nation into a new India. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you all the participants who were there with us today, and we look forward to many such sessions where we can have your presence, and we can hear from you again and again. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Vinayak.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Dr. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Gupta.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Raju
Thank
sir.
you, Rakshi
Thank
ma'am.
Have
you,
a great
Raju
day,
ma'am.
Thank
all
you,
of
Rakshi
you.
ma'am. Thank you, Rajni ma'am. Thank you, Raj Kishore sir, Vinayak sir, Preeti ma'am, and Jaswinder sir, everyone. So thank you all for
Thank you.
joining. This is the end of
Thank
the
you, sir.
session. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Take care. Take care.